you know what? I don't like that everybody seems to be in their own cliques. Nobody really talks to me. They don't ask me about myself, my day. And I'm tired of trying to join these cliques. I'm tired of trying to have people understand me. So it's just easier if I just close myself off. Welcome back, conscious beings. So you've graduated from number 5 and you're now ready to hear about number 4. That is going to be focusing on reality. I'm sure you hear me say that and say that doesn't really sound like something that's a problem for me. And that is the problem with being introverted, is that there's something that is outside of ourselves that we are trying to resist seeing. Now, I'm not sure if you knew, but there's 2 kinds of introverts. There is those who focus internally on their own logic and those who focus internally on their own feeling. So these types of introverts are focused internally on their own judgments. So that means that the problem that they're going to have on the outside is going to be dealing with people. So if you're internally focused on your own logic, you're going to be having an issue with the emotions of others outside of yourself. If you're internally focused on your own feelings, you're going to be having a problem with the logic of others outside of yourself. So what's the other type of introvert? Those are going to be people who are focused internally on processes. One of them is going to be a little bit more future focused, while the other is going to be someone who is more focused on their personal experiences. There might be somebody who is a little bit more focused on their routines, and the person who's a little bit more abstract and future focused, they're going to have a problem with things that show up in the present tense, things that they didn't plan for, right? Because of that future focus. And the other ones who are used to having things stay the same are going to be a little bit more stressed when things outside of themselves change or are different than what they're used to, and they don't get to control that. So what I'm saying about looking at your reality is that we have to get out of our own heads, right? So I like to tell this story because it was about a young lady who had an epiphany one day. She was an introvert and she came into work and she said, you know what? I don't like that everybody seems to be in their own cliques. Nobody really talks to me. They don't ask me about myself, my day. And I'm tired of trying to join these cliques. I'm tired of trying to have people understand me. So it's just easier if I just close myself off. And like we talked about in number 5 about that self-fulfilling prophecy, is that she would come into work and she would close herself off, but be very annoyed and blaming others outside of herself that they are the ones doing this to me. They're the ones who caused me to be this way. And usually we know when we're not doing something in reality when we are blaming everyone else. Everyone else is to blame, except for me. And that's how you know that you're missing something in reality. If everyone else doesn't have a problem, if everyone else is saying things are fine, and you're the one who is freaking out, or you're the one who is saying you don't understand, and you're closing yourself off, it's usually because you're resisting seeing something in reality. And this can be true for extroverts in their own way as well. We'll talk about them another day. And so she came into work one day and she said, you know, I had an epiphany. I realized that I come into work and I get annoyed because everybody's saying good morning to each other. Everybody's asking how their weekend went. And all these people are talking and I feel like they're in cliques. And the thing is I don't ask anybody how their weekend was. I don't say good morning to anybody. So she came into work and she started saying good morning. And whenever she left work, she started saying, hey, have a good evening. And whenever Monday came, she started saying, hey, how was your weekend? Did you do anything interesting? And she began to learn about other people. And they would ask her in return, say, did you do anything? And suddenly they're having a conversation. So many times we have this kind of construct that we form within ourselves and we say, this is how I feel about it. This is what I think about it. This is how I think things should be, that we We push everything outside of ourselves away, and we form this reality for ourselves that isn't necessarily true. And it's very hard to break out of that cycle for yourself and say, am I seeing things correctly? Get into the habit of stopping and saying, what am I missing? What is it that I'm not understanding that everyone else seems to see except for me? It's one of the hardest things to do in life. But once you do, once you can see that reality, then you know what it is that you need to change. And one of the biggest things that you can do to change your reality right now is to check out the third life-changing habit for introverts. Check it out. It's right there. It's not going to click itself.